I Run on Spare Parts is a podcast that explores the powerful world of organ transplants through real stories, real people, and real hope. Each episode dives deep into the human side of medicine, celebrating survival, second chances, and the connections that make life possible. From donors to recipients, families to medical professionals, every voice reminds us what it means to truly live and to keep running on spare parts.
So, Terrence, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. Millie, what about yourself?
Awesome. I'm feeling good. Welcome back to the I Run on Spare Parts podcast. I'm Milagro, host of the I Run on Spare Parts podcast, and this is Terrence.
Hey, Terrence and I, podcast is Beyond the Machine.
Are you the host of that podcast, or is that just your podcast? You know, I just got to make fun. Come on.
Yeah. I'm the host.
Oh, okay.
But
I
you
won't be
never
this
know.
podcast.
Some days anybody might be the host, So,
Okay.
hey, you might be the host one day.
I'm always the host
Okay, all right.
of my podcast.
Of your podcast, got it. But I couldn't invite you to be the host on mine.
Of course you can.
All right.
I'll host any podcast you want me to host.
All right, cool.
So today we're going to get into how kidney disease has impacted our lives, our family life, and our identity. Isn't so for me, I guess I'll start, ladies first.
Yeah.
Because, I always take all the credit for everything. I'm just kidding. So for me, I was diagnosed with kidney disease at a very young age. I was 17 years old. And it definitely changed actually, no, let me not lie. Rewind. I started having signs and symptoms of kidney disease at 17 years old, but I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
I had extremely high blood pressure. I had, and I was obese. Obesity came back to visit.
Obesity. I like
Obesity,
I like when you call it obesity.
Obesity was just hanging around.
Gotcha. That's funny.
And by the time I got to college, I really enjoyed eating food because, we're foodies. And I was always cooking in the kitchen. And I was the type of person who never knew that enough is enough.
Wow.
So I would basically just eat to my heart's content. But when I went to college, I had a bout of high blood pressure that just would not go down. It basically, I was running stroke level blood pressures, 160s over 100s.
Oh, wow.
All the time. And I had a constant headache. And I was like, oh my gosh, why is my head hurting so bad all the time? And I just could not figure it out. So they were like, we're going to need to send you to a nephrologist. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like I said back in the other episode, I thought I had cancer. I thought they were sending me to an oncologist.
Oncologist, not a nephrologist.
Not a nephrologist. Because at the time, I didn't even know what a nephrologist was. I know what it is now. It is a doctor who specializes in kidneys and kidney function.
Right.
So
we happen to have a good one, by the way.
Yes, we do. We can't name him. We can't name names, but he knows who he is. And they know who they are.
And they know who they are.
But basically, I had a tough time wrapping my mind around that because at 18, 19 years old, you're not trying to modify your lifestyle. You want to eat, drink, and be merry
for sure
all the time. So is that something that you can relate to? Tell me a little bit about how it felt for you.
Well, definitely I can relate to the being in the teenage years, thinking you're invincible, thinking that no disease and nothing that you do can affect your life. You think you can go through anything. It's not true, by the way. And sometimes we find out later in life, like I did, that some of the things that I was doing as a teenager and a young adult ended up affecting me as I got a little bit older.
Right.
And one of the things that I realized is that, a lot of things that affect us could have been avoided had we known better or had we had, really good information. But because I think you mentioned on last week's podcast talking about you came from a household that said you got to clean your plate.
Oh yes, we had to make sure all our food was eaten.
Right, and so that was kind of my household as well. if they put it on the table, they wanted you to eat it, and we didn't want to waste food, and that was kind of the mentality that I grew up with, and not knowing that some of those things could affect your long term health by always feeling like you got to eat everything on your plate, or that you just got to have a big plate in order to have a satisfying meal. But that
Oh,
was one of the things,
that's so true.
right?
Or you have to go back and get seconds.
Right.
I mean, if it's something that you
Thirds, in
really
my opinion.
like, right? If it was something that you really liked, you went back and got multiple
Absolutely.
plates. Thanksgiving was definitely one of those times where you eat to your heart's content.
Right.
And everything had a pound of butter and 13 bags of sugar.
Right. Right. You could we were chewing lemonade and tea. We weren't really drinking
Right.
it. Yeah.
We
No, I
never
get
really
it.
drank it.
Yeah, I get it.
Um, but when it came to like my family life, I'm the only one in my family who has kidney disease.
Wow.
Only one. No one. Well, my mom has a host of other diseases, but like, I don't want to say diseases. Can we got that? Comorbidities. But she doesn't have any kidney disease. Not a lick.
Right.
She tried to give me her kidney.
Well, one of the things is it's amazing to me is that I was the first one in the family in my immediate family to have diabetes. I was the only one for a while, and was kind of weird to me because, like I said, I thought I was always person that was really healthy. I was an athlete. I always exercise. I always lift weights. I always, I did a lot of things to try to stay in shape. Even after I started gaining weight, I would still go to the Y and would, shoot basketball and lift weights and do those things. Although my eating habits never changed, which is the wrong way to figure that you can eat what you want as long as you work out, and
Oh,
that's definitely not true. Which is one of the reasons why I'm probably in the predicament that I am in now. But with you happening so, you know, having signs and symptoms, my signs and symptoms was few and far between.
oh, I totally understand about how it feels when you think that you can eat anything and just exercise. I remember growing up, I wasn't really a fan of exercise, but I thought that because I was running outside as a kid, like, oh, I'm doing all this exercise. I was riding bikes all day,
Right.
but yet I was still overweight for my age and my height.
Right.
I I'm only 5'3", so
Right.
you gotta put in. I mean, as much as we don't want to think about the height weight chart, it's definitely something
It is.
that is for real.
It is.
Uh,
And the what is it? The obesity, what is it, ratio that they have for your height, or the your
oh, the
height and weight?
BMI,
The BMI, yeah. So
body mass index,
so my body mass index was not non-existent when I was um, early grade school
because
and
you were
high
skinny,
school.
right?
I was skinny. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
was
wish
really
I was.
thin. I didn't start gaining weight per se until I got to about my senior year in high school, and I still was kind of thin for a person my height, but what I like to say is because you're skinny doesn't mean you're healthy. That's for sure. Because my
That is true.
diet was horrible, and like I said, I was under the mindset that if you, as long as you work out, you can eat what you want to eat. But that's not true.
I can totally agree with that. I know that when so fast forward to past childhood, past college life, I'm a mom and I had two kids. So that also put like a strain on my kidneys, especially when it came to filtration. And originally, I didn't know what my filtration rate was because, like I was saying, growing up, they didn't test that. Then nobody ever was like, "Hey, we need to send you to a nephrologist." Like, not one time did anybody ever say that when I was growing up, and I had high blood pressure then too. They were just like, "Oh, you got obesity." Obesity. I
Right.
do know how to say it.
Right.
But you're obese and so you need to do better when it comes to being obese.
And
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, no, go ahead.
No, and that's critical because even if you're a muscular person, your body is not designed to take a whole bunch. You know what I mean? Um, my hat's off to those bodybuilders and people that stay consistently in shape. But I still think there's and this is just my opinion. I'm not coming going to come back with any facts, but I think that still too much body mass, even if it's lean, can be dangerous.
I mean, I guess I could understand where you're coming from. I think that um, the healthy range is anything under 25, if I'm not mistaken. Please don't. I just said this is off the top of my head. I'm not like pulling it up. But since we're gonna have people who are gonna fact check us.
Oh, please fact
So
check us.
let me look it up real quick and find out what the real BMI, like what the BMI chart is and what is considered healthy.
And while you're looking that up, I must commend you because when I met you, you were talking about you decided to change your diet
Yeah.
and do some things, and that was really instrumental in helping me because I didn't want to be on dialysis, and I thought back in my earlier stages of dialysis, there's a cure to this. I can get that. I looked up and Googled everything that is possible, and if it could be tried, I tried it.
Right.
Within the range of
The realm
my
of what
doc,
you could
yeah,
do.
yeah,
Yeah.
what I could do, and so one of the things that came out of that though is that although I needed a kidney transplant, everything else was pretty much well. I didn't have any heart issues.
Yeah.
Blood pressure pretty much stayed as under control as I could keep it. Um, I think, and I'll talk about this in another episode of how I struggle with that on the second go around. But I think there are probably a lot of things that could that was feeding into that.
Yeah, so I did look it up. A BMI chart for women, and this is on Very Well Health. Below 18.5 is considered underweight. 18.5 to 24.9 is considered a healthy weight. 25 to 29.9 is considered overweight. And 30 to 34.5 is considered obesity.
Obesity.
Class 1. And
Obesity.
obesity. I definitely, like I said, dealt with that my whole life.
Right.
I did change my eating habits. I and this was when I was an adult after having kids and doing all that. I basically decided that I was not going to eat meat anymore.
Right.
I cut out all meat. I started eating sofritas from Chipotle. That was my favorite place to eat. That and anything veggie. Like I love zucchini squash, onions and broccoli and asparagus all together at once. Oh, and mushrooms. Oh, mushrooms was my favorite thing to eat.
Yeah.
Like I literally stopped eating meat and I saw a drastic change in my numbers. And by numbers, I mean like my creatinine and my glomerular filtration rate, which was at the time in the 20s. It was at 23.
Right.
And so basically, they were telling me that, I was doing okay, but they was still, I had to, in 2016, get something caught in my arm, which we spoke about in one of the
Right.
last episodes, was a
Right.
fistula, which was preparing me for dialysis because once you get down to 15, that's when they're like, okay,
It's time
it's
for
time to get on
dialysis.
dialysis
Yeah.
because your body is
Yeah.
not being able to process all the toxins that are in your body. You're not excreting them like you should, and it's time. But I wasn't there yet,
Right.
and so that's what I was telling Terrence. I was like, look, Terrence, this is what helped me. I changed my eating habits.
Right.
I exercise every day, which is what we should be doing anyway.
Right.
Eating a healthy, balanced meal
Correct.
and exercising, which is what we should do anyway. So,
Correct.
tell them how that helped you.
Well, the reason the thing that it didn't help me out. The information was really good, but I didn't necessarily do everything that you were saying right away because I was so used to having what I had, and I was trying to shortcut the shortcut, so to speak. And there's no shortcut for the shortcut, right?
No, no,
So,
no shortcut for the shortcut.
right. So, but one of the things that I my energy started going way down, way down. My
So
blood
you had
pressure
chronic
started
fatigue.
started getting way out of control, and so I knew then that I need to take a new approach to looking at food and the way I look at food. And even now, that's evolved for me again, the way I look at food. I read somewhere where, and I'm gonna say it like this: American people have a problem with food because we develop a love affair with it,
Yes, we
and
definitely
and
use it.
and there's a man that said one time that ignorance to a purpose of a thing, then abuse. When you have ignorance to the purpose of a thing, then abuse is inevitable. It means you're going to abuse it. And so, what I went back to this past year, um, before, well, after going through um, kidney failure for the first time, I started trying to look at how to eat differently. And I was the type person that if you tell me now, hey man, you can't eat another steak, I quit cold turkey. Like I just won't do it. And at the time, um, after talking to you, and now I do realize that that's not the best way to do it.
Right, right.
So after talking to you, you were like, "Hey, just try the veggie lifestyle." I'm like, "Okay, I'll try the
Just
veggie
try
lifestyle."
it.
But here's the thing: I live in a household full of carnivores.
There's nothing wrong with
So,
carnivores.
so, so trying
Deciding you're
to
gonna change and make everybody eat vegetables
right,
was not on the
right,
move.
right. It's
So,
not necessary. So what I had to do is be okay with them eating what they ate, and
right.
then had to settle it in my own mind that this is what I need to do for my health. And once I began to do that, and begin to think about food a little bit differently than my past. Then it became a lot easier for me because it would be nuts for me to just eat a hot dog and be
Right.
good. I'm good on it. Put a hot dog, a piece of bun on a bun, and
With a
throw
little
some
mustard.
little ketchup and mustard on it, and eat it and throw it
Yeah,
down. That's
I
my
used to
dinner.
love me a good hot dog.
Yeah.
So, how would you say that having kidney disease later in life has affected your career?
Oh wow. So that's really interesting because I did a big career change before moving to Atlanta. I was always in some type of retail environment. So I always worked. I started out my career out of college. I was a manager at Foot Action
Okay.
USA. So I did that for 6 years. I left there, and we'll talk about how I left there on a different episode. But I left
Uh oh.
there. Yeah, that's funny. I left there and I went to work for AT&T.
Okay.
And I, it take my wife to tell this story to y'all. I hated computers. I didn't want to type. I didn't want to do anything. But um, as far as computers are concerned, I didn't even like phones. Um, but I took a, this is the amazing thing is, I took a job with AT&T and T, and I had to learn how to use a computer.
Oh
And
wow.
I
And you
had
had to learn how to use a phone.
and I was using the phone all the time. I was a call center person, and I used to be sitting there. I hate phones. Hey, welcome to AT&T. But
Right.
I really hated talking on the phone. But I did what was necessary for me to be successful at that job. And then those type of attitudes came to me when it came to food. I say, okay, you got to do what's necessary, or you're not going to be around to
Right.
see your kids graduate. You're not going to be around to enjoy the things that a lot of people get a chance to enjoy with their families. And so um, thinking about that, I got off track. What was that? What was your question again?
How has having kidney disease affected your career?
Okay, this is how it affected my career. And I start talking about earlier career things. And I got
You
off track
got
a
off
little
on a
bit.
tangent. It's
I
okay.
did.
I
I
understand.
did.
It can
I did.
sometimes be like that. You'd be like,
Because you start
well,
thinking about things that have
that
happened for a
happened
long.
to you
Yeah.
and that was been going on for a long time and
Right.
then like,
Right.
but I mean,
So
Tell me.
I probably started having signs of kidney disease way back in 2016,
Mm,
but I didn't know that's what it was.
right.
I, I had been by that time diagnosed as a diabetic probably about 6 years or more. Yeah, probably
Mm,
about 2016, maybe 13 years. So one of the things that happened to me is, I believe I mentioned that I was a teacher. I became a teacher.
yes.
I worked at Rockdale County High School, and I became a coach.
Oh.
And shortly after that, I had to start doing dialysis. And dialysis, I was a Monday, Wednesday, Friday person, and so that means I had to leave right after school.
So what was the trigger that caused you to have to do dialysis? I mean, of course, I know it's kidney disease, but what was your underlying cause? Like for me, my underlying cause was focal segmental glomerulosclerosis, FSGS. Uh, I know you say that every time. Like that's such a long word. It really is. It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
But I know that once, like I was saying, once I got down to 15, they was like, okay, because my kidneys could no longer sustain. So, what was your, when you went on dialysis, what was your filtration rate? And what did they tell you that, and had your pancreas failed as well at the time, or was it just the kidney?
No, my pancreas had already failed. I was already a diabetic. I had been a diabetic, like I said, for about 13, 14 years by the time my kidney failed. Um, there was really nothing leading. I was getting symptoms earlier, but I didn't know they were symptoms. I thought
Mm-hmm.
there was just, you got a cold here and there. um, you work all the time, so you're getting tired here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but all these were signs and symptoms of kidney failure.
Right.
Now, how mine was a little bit different um, as to how I found out, because I told you the day before I found out, I played full court basketball, like 4 or 5 games. Um, we were attending, me and my family were attending this at a church, a local church,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a gym. And this particular day, they were doing something with the youth, and of course, I coached, and I still like to talk a little trash. And
Now you talking
so,
trash.
yeah, yeah, I still like to talk a little trash about shooting basketball about that back at that time because,
What?
and then at that time, my daughter was playing basketball.
Okay, okay.
So we would go in there and we try to work out and shoot. So
Mm-hmm.
I had some guys come in, young guys in their 20s, came in and they,
Okay.
they were like, you can't play, and you will. I said, okay. So I called my team, let them call their team. We beat them. After we beat them bad, I went and sat down and went to sleep on the bleachers. My son came and woke me up. And he was like, "Hey, man, you okay?" I'm like,
Nah, I think I need to go to the
yeah, I
hospital at
think I
this
need to
point.
go. I got something going on with my lungs. I can't hardly breathe, and and you would think I would get up and go to the hospital right then, but I didn't. I went home
Oh my goodness.
and went to sleep.
Mm.
The next day I got up and my
Still
son was
feeling the
like,
same way.
"Yeah, still feeling the same way." He was like, "You gonna go to the hospital?" I said, "Yeah, let's go wash the car first, though."
You
So
doing everything other than go to the
everything but
hospital.
doing what I'm supposed to do. So finally, I washed the car. We came back home, and I was out of it. And I just got on the floor and went to sleep. And he came and woke me up. He said, "Hey man, you still gonna go to the hospital?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, let's go." So anyway, we went to the hospital. To make a long story short, because I told this story previously. One of the doctors came in and said, "Hey, Mr. Williams, your kidney's working at 15%. We think it's starting for dialysis." I'm like, "What?"
There we go. That number 15.
I like, "What?" "Yeah, your kidneys are working at 15%. It's time for dialysis." I say, "No, I don't think it's time for dialysis yet, doc." I said, "What we're gonna do is we're gonna wait a couple more days."
Yeah,
He
okay.
say,
You just gonna do what you
he
want to
said,
do.
yeah. He said, "Okay, well, I'll give you some time to think about it." He said, "But I'm pretty sure you're gonna need dialysis." I'm like, "Nah." So another day went by. I'm in the hospital. He came in and checked on me. He said, "What we gonna do, Mr. Williams?" I say,
And
"Well,
at
what
this
what
point,
what the
you know,
numbers? Yeah, what the numbers look like?" He said, "It's getting pretty bad." He said, "How are you feeling?" I say,
I'm feeling pretty
"I'm
bad.
feeling pretty bad." He said, "I think it's time for us to go ahead and start dialysis." So I relented when I didn't want to. Go ahead,
Hmm.
let's get started. Then he explained to me everything that was going to have to happen. And I was like, I don't want to do that.
Well, I mean, at this point, you don't really have a choice.
I
And
didn't
on
have a
top of
choice.
that, you're in the hospital all this time. And
Right.
so now you can't work.
Right.
Your family is impacted
Right.
because you're not working,
Right.
and then they're having to take on the extra that's going on with you.
Right.
Like for me, being a single parent, I didn't really have those same things going on.
Mm-hmm.
I did have to find somebody to take care of my son. I had to find I I can't really say find. I had a really good support system. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I I did start dialysis at 15,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a really good job, and they supported me during this time, so I was able to put in, FMLA, so that my job wouldn't necessarily get gone. You know what I'm saying? And they literally like put a little
They
blanket
corralled
around
you.
me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know for me, I did home hemodialysis.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a little bit tough.
I can imagine. I can
I didn't quite have
imagine.
the same I didn't quite have the same experience you had
Mm-hmm.
where you had to go into the hospital. I knew leading up to the point when I was going to have to do dialysis, and I knew that I had to tell my job, "Hey, on this day, I'm going to have to be out for at least 6 to 12 weeks so that I could learn how to do dialysis
Right.
and then do dialysis at home. And then having to have a son who was in school and him going to school and not necessarily knowing what's really going on with me. And he's like, Ma, you okay? Ma, you okay? And
Right.
then once they moved the machine into the house, it was like, Ma, you okay? Like, uh,
Why we got all this coming in the house? Yeah.
what? Why is all your blood out in
Yeah.
the tubes?
Right.
He was,
Right.
I mean, so it definitely impacted him in a way where now he wants to be a surgeon.
Oh wow.
Um, he wants to be a surgeon, and I thought that that was pretty cool. But it impacted him in so much that it's changed his outlook on life, and it's
Right.
changed his outlook on mortality. Like even my own mortality changed because once you get on dialysis, it's kind of like you feel like you're at the end of the road.
Oh yeah. And the name that they call it doesn't help because when they was like, well, you had got end stage renal
Renal
failure.
failure.
I'm like, okay, explain end stage. He said, this is it. I'm like, okay, what does this is it mean?
That means that this is it before you die.
Yeah,
And
and
that
that's a tough one to try to swallow. Like, okay, so if I don't do this, I'm gonna die, and if I do this, I still can die. So I'm like, what's the
you
point?
kind of feel like you're at a lose-lose
You lose,
situation,
lose.
but in all actuality, it does help get the toxins off. It does
Correct,
extend your life.
correct.
Having to be on dialysis, and I was only on dialysis for 6 months. Praise the Lord. I don't.
Crazy.
I be feeling guilty when I say that because I know that people suffer and are on dialysis for a very long time. I
Right.
feel very, very blessed to only have to have done dialysis
Super
for six
blessed.
months. I
And
know you
that's what I
said that
feel
you did dialysis for
for
a
a year and
year
3 months.
and 3 months,
Hmm.
and I got the call for my kidney transplant. But my identity changed, and I won't say like I changed my identity,
Hmm.
but like who I was changed because it was such like I said, it brought into my own mortality. Am I gonna die? Who's gonna
Right.
take care of my son?
Right.
What do I have to leave him? I haven't even worked enough. Like
Right.
I didn't. At this point, because I was diagnosed with kidney disease so early, I wasn't even able to get life insurance.
Wow.
So it's like here it is. I'm thinking about my family life,
Hmm.
and it's like who's gonna step up to the plate and take care of him?
Right.
Who's gonna step up and like take care of my final affairs? Like I
Hmm.
said, I did have a very good support system,
Hmm.
so I was blessed in that way as well. But it was just like those are the thoughts that were going through my mind. Like even just having end stage renal disease or end
Hmm.
stage, you know what I'm saying? It's just like you're at the end.
Right.
What do you do?
Right.
Like,
And one of the things that I like about it is that when you meet people who have been on dialysis for a long time, they still look good, and
yeah,
then they don't look like they're missing anything. And I met one person who had been on dialysis. We're the same age. She's 50, and she had been on dialysis since she was 17. And I asked her, well, how do you do it? What did you do? She said, I just follow instructions, and I
She
do
said
it.
since she was how old?
17. Well,
Never
no,
wanted.
sorry. My bad.
I was like
20,
17.
27. She was
27.
27. She was
Okay.
27 years old.
Did she ever
And
say what was wrong with her kidney?
she didn't. I didn't ask her. I didn't ask her, what happened because she was still pretty young to be going through kidney disease,
Yeah.
27 years old. And like I said, with me, I had diabetes, and my diabetes was untreated for a while. And
It damaged your kidneys.
yeah, well, I won't say it damaged my kidneys because I didn't really have any kidney problems afterwards, but the different regimens that I was put on, I didn't change. So what I did with the way I treated my diabetes was I just took the medicine. I didn't change my eating habit. I exercised the same because I've always exercised, but I
Yeah.
didn't really change my eating habits, which was pretty bad. And without, you can't medicate diabetes away. You have to
Yeah.
you do have to take your medicine if you have diabetes, if the doctor's recommending that you're doing it. The other thing you have to do is you have to change the way you view food. And that was the biggest challenge for me. Changing. That was my, I guess, identifying thing was that I had to become a different person.
Right.
And you know, I'm a no nonsense guy when it comes to food too. Like I like chili. I
Right.
do stupid stuff with chili. I take chili and put it on a piece of bread with the piece on a piece of bread. That's a lot of
That's a
that's a
lot
lot
of
of calories. Yeah.
carbohydrates and
And
calories.
then I might put mayo on the bread before I put the chili on top, and then throw some cheese on top of that.
Terrence, you're getting off topic.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, yeah. Anyway,
What are we talking about?
but that's what I'm saying. I don't do those things anymore.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's one of the things that you have to be really mindful of.
Cognizant
Just
about.
just change the way who you are.
Well, Terrence, I do appreciate you, spending some time with me and telling
Absolutely.
me about, how kidney disease has affected you, your family, your career, and your identity. Be sure to tune into our next episode so that we can keep telling you how we run on spare parts. And
We do.
until then, good night.
God bless.